Today, I will be talking about Christianity and what it means to be a Christian and how it is part of our everyday life. For most of us, we've all been Catholic since we were born because we've just been born into a Catholic family. But for many of us, I don't think we know actually how our everyday lives connect with our religion. Most Catholics know that the basic beliefs are that Jesus is our Savior and we believe in His teachings. The two central beliefs of Christianity is that we need to love God and love others. This is pretty simple for most of us. We get the love others part, but the one I want to focus on today is how we love God. And for some people, I was talking to a friend the other day, and I asked them about prayer. And one of them said, oh, well, I feel like for the most part, I'm a pretty good person, so I just don't pray that much. And my other friend went, oh, prayer, I just don't do that, and kind of laughed it off. But it got me thinking, how often do we actually pray? It doesn't have to be the biggest part, but to be a true person, it's not just being a true Christian, it's not just being a good person, you have to love God. And this means having a personal relationship with Him. And the only way to do this is through prayer. This doesn't have to be the most sincere prayer. Through prayer, we do this by relying and trusting on God. And through prayer, we can use 4 different types. Thanking God, asking for forgiveness, asking for something, and thanking God. But that's not what I want to focus on prayer. I want to focus on how prayer is any conversation with God. And we need to have some kind of conversation at least once a day. Now, I believe every different person has their definition of prayer because none of us talk to God in the same way. For some people, it's very reverent. It's praying the rosary, praying novenas, and that kind of stuff. And for some of us, it's just talking to God every day and just telling Him our story because He wants to hear. And it's okay to just talk to Him and go, you know what, today, it just was a really bad day. I don't really have any energy, and I just need some help getting through this homework. And when you do this, you have developed a personal relationship, and it shows that you rely on your strength from God. And you'll notice through this, you'll start to notice you know more about yourself and God. And so what else is prayer? I really want to focus on how much prayer can do for you. And through everyday life, we can use prayer. And I want to start with imagine if you just woke up and just took 1 minute. It could be anything. It could be asking for God. It could be thanking Him. It could be talking to Him. It could be anything. For example, this morning I woke up and it was kind of hectic. I got sick right before. I had to do a bunch of tests and had this talk to do today. But I noticed that in the end, it all worked out. So, and to be honest, I don't think I would have done it if I didn't just take a step back and I'm not the only one doing this. Someone is there to help me. And this takes me to my second important part of loving God, is relying on Him. We think our strength has to come from ourselves, but there's another person there. And when you have this feeling, it's a kind of peace that you just can't get from just being alone by yourself. Because you can just take any moment, any embarrassing, any crazy, any hectic moment, and if you notice that God is there with you, then suddenly it's a 2-person deal, and half the work is already done. So, just think of one moment where you just completely didn't know what to do, you were stressed out, and you felt like you put in as much effort as possible. Then, let God do the rest. Just tell Him this. He knows that you have worked hard, and all you have to do is rely on Him, and suddenly the other part becomes a little easier. And the best part is, God understands when you reach out to Him. So, if you just take a little thing, it could be anything, I studied for this math test, and I need some help on it. As soon as you've said this, first of all, you grow in confidence, because suddenly you know that God knows, and which gives you confidence to do this in everyday life. So, what am I trying to say? Through prayer, we develop a relationship with ourselves, God, and just in everyday life, it becomes a little less stressful and becomes peaceful. This moves me to my second part, which I've already talked about in prayer, but I really want to talk about relying on God. As long as you're there, as I've already mentioned, but just remember, next time you get in a stressful situation, just remember He is there, and it will feel very much better. In conclusion, I'm not asking that to be a Christian, that in everyday life you have to read the Bible for 20 minutes, or you have to understand all His scriptures, but it's about loving Him and loving others, and it's as simple as that. In everyday life, God doesn't ask us to be perfect. He asks us to try our best and love and trust Him. And if you can do that, you're truly a Christian.